We possess true power in the midst of our deepest trials. Well, the Bible gives us such immense wisdom to learn how to think in the midst of our trials. And I want to learn some of this wisdom right now, or I want you to learn some of this wisdom from what we read about in Genesis chapter 40. Now, last time we spoke, we read about how Joseph had been imprisoned. He was imprisoned, and then there were two people that were sent into the prison who had dreams. And Joseph interprets these dreams, and the dreams came true, just like Joseph interpreted. And one of the people that he interpreted the dreams for, he told him, he's like, when you get out of here and when you get restored to power with Pharaoh, remember me. Remember me so that I would get out of this place too. But guess what? This person forgot the moment the prophecy came true. And Joseph had to remain in prison for 2 more years until Pharaoh had a dream. And so check this out. How does this relate to us? Well, what this makes me understand is that God was not done preparing Joseph. If Joseph would have gotten out of prison prematurely, who knows what would have become of him? But because of those 2 extra years of preparation, he was able to rise to second command in all of Egypt, to save all of Egypt, even his own family, from the famine that was to come. And so when we think about the things that God allows us to experience and to endure with great trial, right? It just makes me think about in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 5, where it says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. Well, how do we do that? That seems absolutely impossible, and the matter of fact, insane. Well, the objective of the Holy Spirit is to teach us how to count it all joy when we fall into various trials. Because when we look at the life of Joseph, and when we look at why exactly God allowed him to stay 2 more years in that prison, we can see God has a plan in the trial. But the important thing to understand is that plan cannot be executed unless we are intent on serving God with all that we are. If you want to walk in the fullness of your calling, it is impossible to enter into that if we are not intent on serving God in the midst of our trials. But the moment we become intent on doing that, right, we can access a power and a peace and an understanding that, God, you are working something far greater into my life than I can even expect. A prayer that would be very wise for you to pray is the prayer of Moses. And he said, and he prayed to God, Lord, teach me to number my days so that I would gain a heart of wisdom. This trial is not going to last forever in your life. But if you have this very heart of wisdom that Moses possessed, you will learn how to see soberly and rightly what God has given you, to rise above the fear and to rise above the discouragements that can so easily overcome us in the midst of our trials. This will be revolutionary for you once you understand it. But you have to seek for this wisdom. You can't just be complacent about it. In order to enter in to this wisdom, to this joy, to this peace that surpasses understanding, you have to wrestle with God, and you have to say, Lord, I will not let you go until you bless me. God bless you. Enter into this, and I want to hear about the testimonies that come forth from your life when you received from God in this way. God bless you.